You are on the radio in the dark, and nobody is answering. 4 of your men are in the dirt. The nearest reinforcements are 4 hours away. The enemy was waiting when they shouldn't have been, which means the intelligence was wrong, which means the men who are dying right now died because of a piece of paper someone trusted that they shouldn't have. You know all of this in the first 30 seconds. You process it the way men who have been doing this for 20 years process the worst thing they have ever seen. Cleanly, quietly, one step at a time. Because falling apart is something you can do later, on a porch, if you survive. You think about a team sergeant you had when you were 22 years old. He told you something on your first deployment that you did not fully understand until this moment. Out here, the job is simple. Control what you can control. Let go of what you can't. Confuse the two, and the mission dies. So do the men. You are in control of what you can control right now. You are calling for helicopters that are too far away. You are directing fire. You are doing the job. This is the story of how a 19-year-old in a strip mall recruiter's office ended up on a radio in Niger, and how he became the man that his younger self would not have recognized and could not have survived. Level 1. The recruit. You sign the papers at an office in a strip mall. The recruiter shakes your hand. He smiles like you just won something. You don't know what you won yet. You're 19 years old. You played football in high school. You lifted weights in your garage. You watched every military movie ever made. You think you know what you're signing up for. You don't. You fly to Fort Benning for basic training. They shave your head in the first hour. They take your clothes and give you a uniform that doesn't fit. They scream at you from the moment you step off the bus. A drill sergeant is 3 inches from your face, telling you that you are nothing. You believe him. For 10 weeks, you do nothing but run, shoot, march, and suffer. You learn how to hold a rifle. You learn how to throw a grenade. You learn how to survive in a chemical attack. You graduate. Your mother cries at the ceremony. You feel proud for about an hour. Then you report to the airborne school. 3 weeks of jumping out of airplanes. Your first jump, you are so scared you almost can't breathe. The jump master shoves you out the door. You fall through 1,250 feet of empty air before your parachute opens. You land hard, and you survive. You do it 4 more times. You earn your wings. You're still not a Green Beret. Not even close. You're just a paratrooper now. An infantryman, with silver wings on your chest. You report to Fort Bragg, North Carolina. You look at the men with the Green Berets walking around the base. They don't look at you. You don't exist to them yet. You spend your first year in a regular infantry unit. You clean rifles you'll never fire in combat. You stand in formation in the rain. You save every dollar of your paycheck. Your platoon sergeant is a man named Kovacs. 12 years on the job, 2 combat tours. He says very little. When he talks, people stop moving. On your 3rd month, after a training exercise that went wrong in 3 separate ways, he finds you cleaning your rifle at midnight and sits down across from you. He doesn't tell you the exercise was fine. He doesn't tell you it wasn't your fault. He says, out here, the job is simple. Control what you can control. Let go of what you can't. Confuse the two, and the mission dies. So do the men. You write it down when he leaves. You will carry it for 30 years. You write the request for Special Forces selection 11 months into your enlistment. Kovacs reads it. He tells you 90% of guys like you wash out in the first week. He tells you to prove him wrong. You intend to. Level 2. The candidate. You volunteer for Special Forces assessment and selection. They call it SFAS. Most people call it selection. It's a 3-week course designed to break you in ways you didn't know you could be broken. 400 men show up on day 1. 150 will still be there at the end. You will either be one of them or you won't. You spend the first week doing physical fitness tests, push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, timed runs, a 12-mile ruck march with 45 pounds of gear. They don't tell you the standards. They don't tell you if you passed. They just tell you to show up the next morning. You spend the 2nd week navigating through the pine forests of Camp McCall. You have a map and a compass. You have a rucksack that weighs 65 pounds. You have a list of points you must reach before a deadline that is never announced. You walk 20 miles through swamps and hills with no food breaks and no sleep. You fall and get up. You fall again and get up again. The instructors don't help you. They don't even look at you. They just write on clipboards. Men quit every day. They walk up to the cadre and say the words, "I quit." The cadre nods, and a truck appears. The man who quit climbs in, and the truck drives away. Nobody says anything. You keep walking. Week 3 is Team Week. They divide you into small groups and give you impossible tasks. Move a telephone pole across a field. Carry a dummy patient through a swamp. Build a raft from barrels and rope. The tasks don't matter. The cadre are watching how you work with strangers. Do you lead or do you follow? Do you complain or do you quit? You keep hearing Kovacs in your head. Control what you can control. You can't control the weight. You can't control the deadline. You can control your feet, your mouth, and how you treat the man beside you. You control those things. At the end of 3 weeks, they read names off a list. Your name is on it. You've been selected. But the hard part hasn't started yet. Level 3. The Qualification Student. The Q course is the real thing. 18 months of training designed to turn a soldier into a Green Beret. You start with small unit tactics. You learn how to move through terrain without being seen, how to communicate with hand signals, how to set up an ambush, and how to survive one. You live in the field for weeks at a time. You eat cold rations and sleep in the dirt. You never shower. Then comes your MOS-specific training. You're assigned a specialty. You become a weapons sergeant. You learn every firearm made in the last 100 years. American rifles, Russian rifles, Chinese rifles, Belgian rifles. You learn to operate them, disassemble them, repair them, and teach others to use them. You fire thousands of rounds. Your shoulder bruises black and blue. Your ears ring constantly. Then comes language school. Every Green Beret learns a foreign language. You're assigned Arabic. 6 months of intensive study. 8 hours a day in a classroom. Then 8 more hours of homework. You memorize 5,000 vocabulary words. You learn a new alphabet. Most candidates fail language school and get recycled. You pass. Then comes Robin Sage, the final exercise. A month in the woods of North Carolina. You're dropped into a simulated country called Pineland. Your mission is to train and lead a guerrilla force of locals against an oppressive government. The locals are civilian volunteers who've been doing this for years. They test you. They argue with you. They try to get you to make mistakes. You eat what they eat and sleep where they sleep. You teach them tactics. You fight simulated battles. At the end, you pass or you don't. You pass. You return to Fort Bragg. They put a Green Beret on your head in a small ceremony. Your family is there, and your mother cries again. This time you cry too. But the beret is just a piece of wool. What it represents is what matters. You swore an oath when they handed it to you. De oppresso liber, to free the oppressed. The motto is in Latin. The mission is global. You will go places most Americans will never hear about. You will fight wars that they will never be told about. You will do it all with a team of 11 other men. Just you, your team, and whatever you can carry on your back. Level 4. The Junior Engineer Sergeant. You're assigned to an Operational Detachment Alpha, an ODA, a 12-man team. 2 officers, 10 non-commissioned officers. Every man is a specialist. Every man can do every other man's job in an emergency. You're the Junior Engineer Sergeant, 18 Charlie. You build things and blow things up. Your team deploys to Iraq. Your first mission is to train a platoon of Iraqi soldiers. You spend your days at a training camp outside Baghdad. You teach marksmanship, room clearing, first aid, and basic tactics. The Iraqis are a mix of everything: eager young men, weathered veterans, and infiltrators working for insurgent groups. You don't know which is which. You train them anyway. At night, you go on missions. Your team raids houses where intelligence says insurgents are hiding. You kick in doors. You move through dark rooms with flashlights mounted on your rifles. You find weapons caches buried in courtyards. You find families who are terrified and innocent, and you apologize and leave. You also find bad men. You capture some of them. Others don't want to be captured. Your first firefight lasts 30 seconds. It feels like 30 minutes. Your team leader takes a round through his shoulder. You drag him behind cover. You treat the wound. You call for the medevac helicopter. He survives. He's back on the team 3 months later. The older guys look at you differently now. Your deployment extends to 9 months. The platoon you train turns out to be half loyal. 3 of them disappear one night with their American weapons. They show up a week later, fighting for the other side. Your team sergeant told you this would happen. You didn't want to believe him. Now you do. You spend Christmas in a plywood hut on a forward operating base. Your mother sent a package of cookies that arrived smashed. You eat the crumbs anyway. You call her on a satellite phone for 3 minutes. She asks if you're safe. You tell her everything is fine. You hang up and listen to mortars landing 3 kilometers away. Nothing is fine. You're learning that fine is a word that means something different now. Kovacs's rule surfaces in the dark. Control what you can control. You can control your training. You can control how you treat your team. You can control the next decision. You can't control the mortars. You let them go. Level 5. The Senior Weapons Sergeant. You're on your 4th deployment. 2 to Iraq, 2 to Afghanistan. You've been promoted. You're the Senior Weapons Sergeant now. 18 Bravo. The team's expert on everything that shoots. You're 27 years old. You've seen more combat than most soldiers in history. Your team is deployed to a province in eastern Afghanistan. Your mission is village stability operations. You live among the locals in a small compound at the end of a dirt road. The nearest American base is 40 miles away. Air support is 20 minutes out on a good day. You and your 11 teammates are completely alone. You drink tea with village elders every afternoon. You learn their names, their families, their grievances. The man on your left lost 2 sons to the Taliban. The man on your right lost his brother to an American airstrike. Both men are asking you for help. Both men might betray you tomorrow. You can't tell which. You build the relationship anyway. You train the local police force. You build a school. You bring in medical supplies. You pay for a new well. You do all of this while patrolling for Taliban fighters who own the mountains above the village. Every night you hear them talking on the radio. They know your names. They know your mother's names. You don't sleep well. One night, a kid walks up to your gate, maybe 12 years old, with a letter from his father. The letter says the Taliban are moving weapons through a valley 3 miles north tomorrow. You verify the intelligence. You plan an ambush. Your team sets up before dawn. You wait 8 hours and 110 degrees. The Taliban arrive. The firefight lasts 4 minutes. You win. You don't feel anything about winning. You just called for the helicopter to pick up the bodies. 2 weeks later, your team takes its first casualty of the deployment. Your junior medic steps on a pressure plate on a routine patrol. The explosion throws him 15 feet. Both his legs are gone below the knee. You apply the tourniquets he carried for someone else. You ride in the helicopter holding his hand. He keeps asking about his wife. He keeps asking if his legs are still there. You keep telling him the doctors will fix it. He loses both legs permanently. He survives. You visit him at Walter Reed 6 months later. He thanks you for saving his life. You don't know what to say to that. You think about Kovacs. Control what you can control. You controlled the tourniquet. You controlled the helicopter call. You could not control the pressure plate or what was buried under it. You let that part go, or you try to. Some things are heavier than others to release. Level 6. The Team Sergeant. You're 32 now. You've been doing this for 13 years. Your knees hurt every morning. Your shoulders pop when you reach for things. You have tinnitus from too many explosions. You've buried 3 teammates in national cemeteries across the country. You're the team sergeant now. 18 Zulu, the senior enlisted man on an ODA, the backbone of the team. The officers come and go. You stay. You are the institutional knowledge. You are the father figure. You are the man who makes the team function. Your team leader is a captain who outranks you on paper. He's 26 years old, and this is his first team. He listens to you. The good ones always do. You manage the men. Your weapons sergeant is going through a divorce. You drink with him in the team room and listen. Your medic's father just died. You help him arrange emergency leave. Your junior engineer is a new father. You give him the advice your own team sergeant gave you 10 years ago. Kovacs's advice. Though you don't say it was Kovacs's. You let them think it's just the truth, which it is. Control what you can control. Let go of what you can't. You deploy to Syria. You work with Kurdish forces against ISIS. You live in bombed-out buildings. You move constantly. Enemy drones watch you from overhead. Your Kurdish counterparts call you brother. You hope they mean it. You're pretty sure most of them do. You lose your weapons sergeant to a sniper round in Raqqa. He was 29 years old. He had a 3-year-old daughter named Emma. You write the letter to his wife yourself. You don't have to. You do. You fly home for the funeral. You stand next to his grave in a cemetery in Ohio. You hand his daughter a folded American flag. She doesn't understand what it means. She asks when Daddy is coming home. Her mother can't answer. You can't either. You sit in the team room with his empty locker staring at you. You pack his personal belongings into a box for shipment to his family. You find a photograph in his wallet, him and Emma at the beach. You close the lid. You sit in the dark for a long time. You are not controlling what you can control. You are sitting in the dark. You let yourself do it for one night, exactly as Kovacs would have allowed. Then you get up. Level 7. The Tier 1 Operator. Someone taps you on the shoulder. A man in civilian clothes with a beard and no insignia. He asks if you'd like to try out for a unit he can't name. You know which unit. Everyone in Special Forces knows. Delta Force. The Combat Applications Group. The Army's Tier 1 unit. The best of the best. Selection lasts a month. It takes place somewhere in the mountains of West Virginia. It makes SFAS look like summer camp. 200 candidates start. A dozen finish. You're one of them. Then comes the Operator Training Course. 6 months of the most advanced close-quarters combat training on the planet. You shoot thousands of rounds a day. You clear rooms until you can do it in your sleep. You practice in shoot houses built inside airplanes, inside buses, inside embassy replicas. You learn to shoot from moving vehicles. You learn to shoot while hanging from a rope. You learn to shoot in total darkness using night vision goggles that cost $60,000 a pair. Your first mission with the unit is classified. It will be classified for the rest of your life. You fly somewhere, you do something, and you come back. You can't tell your wife where you went or what you did. She stopped asking years ago. Your missions are the ones that other special operations units can't or won't do. Hostage rescue deep inside hostile territory. Snatch and grab operations against high-value targets. Counter-terrorism raids in the capital cities of countries that don't officially have American troops. You operate in countries most Americans can't locate on a map. Yemen, Somalia, Niger, Mali. Small teams, big consequences, zero footprint. You fly in on military transports painted to look civilian. You land at airfields that don't appear on commercial charts. You rendezvous with CIA officers who hand you intelligence packages. You study the targets for days, then you execute. You take down a bomb maker in a villa outside Mogadishu. The operation lasts 6 minutes from breach to exfil. 3 weeks later, 40 planned terrorist attacks fail to happen. You never find out about most of them. That's how the job works. You succeed in ways no one will ever acknowledge. You fail in ways that end up on the front page. You learn not to read the news. Control what you can control. You can control the breach. You can control the exfil. You cannot control what the front page says. You let it go. Level 8. The Squadron Commander. You've been in special operations for 20 years. Your body is held together by cortisone shots and willpower. You've stopped counting deployments when you hit 15. You're a squadron commander now. You run a unit of 100 operators. You don't kick down doors anymore. You plan the operations that other men execute. You sit in a joint operations center watching live drone feeds. You make decisions that determine whether men live or die. You authorize a strike on a building. You pray the intelligence is right. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. You carry both outcomes. You manage the older operators on your team. Some of them have been through things that broke them in ways that don't show on the outside. You make sure they get help. The culture is slowly changing about mental health, but slowly. You know men who never asked for help and who put guns in their mouths years later. You know their widows. You speak at their funerals and mean every word. You return from deployment. Your daughter is 14. You missed her entire middle school years. She's a stranger to you, polite but distant. You take her to dinner and ask about her life. She answers in short sentences. You don't blame her. You blame yourself. And then you blame the job. And then you blame nothing, because blaming doesn't help either. Control what you can control. Dinner, questions, showing up. You can control those. You cannot control the years that are already gone. Then comes Niger, the team you sent, the wrong intelligence, the 4 caskets at Dover Air Force Base at 2 in the morning in the pouring rain. You stand on the tarmac. You salute as the flag-draped coffins are carried off the transport. You meet the families afterward. You tell them their husbands and sons died as heroes. You leave out the parts about the intelligence failures. Those details don't help widows sleep at night. A senator launches an investigation. You testify behind closed doors. You answer every question honestly. Some procedures get updated. 4 men are still dead. Nothing brings them back. You write their names on a piece of paper in your office. You look at it every morning before you go to work. Level 9. The General Officer. You're 48 years old. You've been promoted to Brigadier General. You command JSOC, the Joint Special Operations Command. the unit that coordinates all of America's most elite military forces. Delta Force, SEAL Team 6, and the Intelligence Support Activity. You run all of it. 4,000 operators are spread across bases around the world. You brief the Secretary of Defense. You brief the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs. You sometimes brief the President of the United States. You are one of the most powerful military officers in the world, and most Americans have never heard your name. That is by design. Your operations happen in 80 countries. Some of those countries are allies, and some are not. Some don't know you're there, and some know but pretend not to. You sit at the table with the National Security Council. The conversation turns to a specific problem: a terrorist leader, a hostage, a weapons program. People turn to you. You present options. The president asks questions. Decisions are made. Orders are issued. 24 hours later, men on the other side of the world are moving toward targets because of words spoken in that room. You go home that night. You eat dinner with your wife. She asks how your day was. You say it was fine. You mean it was normal. Normal for you now involves the lives of hundreds of men and the deaths of some number of enemies. You don't know how to explain that to anyone. You don't try. You learned years ago what you can control and what you can't. Level 10. The Retired Warrior. You retired last year. The ceremony was quiet. A small group in a conference room on base. Your family was there. A few officers you served with for decades attended. The Secretary of Defense sent a letter. You put it in a drawer. You moved to a house in North Carolina. It has a porch. You sit on the porch in the mornings and drink coffee. The sun comes up. You watch it. You haven't watched a sunrise in peace in 30 years. You're 55 years old. Your hands shake a little. Your back hurts. You walk with a slight limp from an injury in Mosul in 2004 that you never got fixed because there was always another deployment. Now there isn't. Your wife suggested therapy. You went. The therapist is a good man, a former Marine. He understands what you've seen. You talk about some of it, not all of it. Some things you will take to your grave. That's not stubbornness. That's the law. Your daughter is 29 now. She has her own daughter, a toddler. The little girl runs to you when you visit. She calls you granddad. You pick her up. You feel something unlock in your chest that you didn't know still existed. You get calls from your former teammates, the ones who are still alive. There are fewer of them every year. Heart attacks, cancer, suicide, and car accidents. The operators age faster than civilians. The body keeps the score. The body sends you the bill decades later. You buried your team sergeant from your first ODA last month. Lung cancer. He was 58. You gave the eulogy. You couldn't finish it. Someone else had to read the last paragraph. You look at your medals sometimes. They're in a shadow box in your closet. The Silver Star, the Bronze Stars with V's, the Purple Hearts, the Distinguished Service Cross that not many people have. Civilians see medals and think of glory. You see them and remember specific days, specific men, specific mistakes, specific miracles. Each one is a story you can't tell. Each one is a weight you carry alone. You speak at a Green Beret graduation ceremony in the spring. They ask you to share wisdom with the new operators. You stand at the podium. You look at 150 young men in Green Berets. They look impossibly young. They look exactly like you looked 35 years ago. You tell them the truth. You tell them the job will take more from them than they can imagine. You tell them the brotherhood is real and the cost is real. You tell them to hold on to their families. You tell them to find faith in something. You tell them to forgive themselves for the things they'll do. And then you tell them the one thing a team sergeant told you when you were 22 years old, cleaning your rifle at midnight, trying to figure out if you had what it took. Control what you can control. Let go of what you can't. Confuse the two, and the mission dies. So do the men. They listen politely. They don't believe you. You didn't believe your mentors either. You shake their hands on the way out. Somewhere in a strip mall right now, a 19-year-old is signing papers. His recruiter is smiling. The kid thinks he knows what he's getting into. He doesn't. He will spend the next 3 decades in places that don't exist on any map. He will lose friends he hasn't met yet. He will become a man his mother won't fully recognize. He will learn things that can't be unlearned. He will fight. He will control what he can control and let go of what he can't. Or he will confuse the two, and it will cost him. He will stand at a radio in the dark someday when nobody answers, and he will make the next decision anyway. He will serve, and if he makes it to the other side, He will sit on a porch somewhere. He will watch the sunrise. He will try to understand what it all meant. He won't finish figuring it out. Neither did you. Neither did anyone. The cycle continues.